I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Huh. I'm tired of arguing, girl. Huh. I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Huh. I'm tired of arguing, girl. Baby girl.
Did you sleep on the wrong side? I'm catching a bad vibe, and it's contagious. What's the latest? Speak your heart, don't bite your tongue. Don't
Hello, and welcome to the Rankin, Mon Valley, Pittsburgh section of the National Council of Negro Women. This is our second show, and we would love for viewers to participate by calling in. The number is 412-231-2288. We have two events coming up that we'd like to tell you about, but let's introduce everyone who's here. My name is Delores Dupree. I'm president of the section, and this is Alecia Gibbs Mahan, the first vice president of the section. And we have four guests with us today, alphabetically. They are Walter Fortson, who's here to talk about his nominee, Orienta Nevels, who's here to talk about her mother, who is a nominee, and Corey Newsom Findley, who's here to talk about her nominee, and Jill Wesley Williams, who's here to talk about her nominee. Welcome to you all, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Alecia and I will discuss our nominees also. Now, Alecia, would you like to talk a little bit about the luncheon first before we talk about the nominees?
Yes, thank you. We are excited to hold our 7th annual Legacy Awards Luncheon. It'll be held on Saturday, March the 25th at the Hosanna House Ballroom, 807 Wallace Avenue in Wilkinsburg, PA. The luncheon will begin at noon. Our Legacy Luncheon recognizes women 80 years or older who have contributed to the advancement of their communities. Our Legacy Luncheon, this year's Mistress of Ceremonies is Reverend Brenda Gregg. Many of you may know her. She is from Project Destiny, which is located on Pittsburgh's North Side. And we're honored to have as our keynote speaker, Attorney Khadijah Diggs, who is the Deputy Director of Southwest Regional Office of the Pennsylvania Governor, Tom Wolf. In previous years, we have had several women who were honored, such as Pittsburgh's Kathy Milton, Jean Bryant, Alma Speed Fox, and Dr. Helen Faison, just to name a few. This year, we're honoring 6 amazing women. Those 6 amazing women are Miss Dorothy Beavers, Miss Rose Cheriton, Mother Irene Davis, Ms. Wilma Delaney, Dr. Mary H. Page, and Ms. Ethel Williams.
Okay. Now, can we show the flyer that we have that describes the luncheon? Okay, it's the other flyer. It's the brownish one. Some of you may have seen this flyer around the city that advertises the luncheon. It has the names of the honorees on it, and it has the logo. There are still tickets available, and one lucky caller will receive a ticket. We've decided which caller it will be. You don't know, but we have decided which caller it will be. So if you call in, you might be the lucky one that will get a ticket to the luncheon. And if you are the lucky one, make sure you stay on the line, and we'll get your telephone number, and we will give you a ticket. We'll make arrangements so that you can get a ticket. Now, eventually, we'll get the flyer up, and you'll see it later on in the show. But we're going to go down the line alphabetically, and we're going to talk about the nominees. We have Mrs. Dorothy Beavers and Walter. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself first, and then tell us a little bit about your honoree, Mrs. Dorothy Beavers?
Yes, my name is Walter Fortson, and I'm retired. I made it to retirement. And I'm currently learning how to produce movies, stage plays, and do advertising, marketing on the internet. Mrs. Dorothy Beavers is a person, I am not, I asked for people to nominate somebody, and she was the person who I came up with. First thing is, she's a devout Christian, and secondly, she's a good mother. She's a kind person. She's a teacher. She's a nurse. She's been an administrator in the community, and she's 102 years old.
Wow. Can we show her picture? Her picture should be back there so that we can see it, and those in the viewing audience can see Mrs. Dorothy Beavers' picture. There she is.
Wow.
All right. And you say she's 102 years old?
Right, and she bought a car in her 90s.
Wow. I know I went to school with her daughter, so
Right.
it's like a
Yeah,
circle.
her daughters taught my daughters at Kappa.
Right. Now, if anyone in the viewing audience happens to know a little bit about the nominees that we show, you can call in and say what you want to say about the honoree that we show. Because all of them are remarkable. They've done a lot of great things in the community, so there are some people who have been aware of some of the things that they do. Next, we have Mrs. Rose Cheriton. Jill, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you nominated Ms. Cheriton?
Thank you, yes.
And hopefully, wait a minute, we can get her picture on after you talk a little bit about yourself. We'll get her picture on as you talk about her.
All right. I'm Jill Wesley Williams. I'm recently retired and very happy to be in this place in my life. I'm the mother of 2 adult children, and I have a grandson who's just 2 years old, so I'm very pleased about that. I'm retired from the North Hills School District after 40-something years as a school social worker, and it brought me a lot of joy to work with students and their families in the community. My nominee is Rose Sheridan, and I'm so excited to have nominated her. Rose is a bold, proud African-American woman, and she's passionate with everybody that she meets. She likes to tell everybody about her history, but more than that, she wants to make them aware of their history. She thinks it's so important that young people today be aware of their history, who they are, and not be limited by any particular situations or circumstances that they find themselves in. Rose originally was born in Baltimore, Maryland, but moved to Pittsburgh, and she's been here a lot of years now and has done a lot of volunteer work in the community. When I was trying to do the nomination, and when Rose was asked to put, I think, something together for the program, it was, how can I put 84 years into, 1 or 2 pieces of paper? So she's got a lot of volunteer work that she's participated in throughout the years. She's been with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Kane Regional Center, the Vocational Educational Training Authority, Holy Family Institute, Urban Impact, March of Dimes, just lots of different organizations that she's volunteered with. She's currently, now as we speak, she volunteers at La Roche College in the North Hills area. And she's always talking to young people, just spoke at a church recently, again, about their history and wanting them to own who they are. Rose credits a lot of her life to her Christian parents and to the African-American teachers that she had in elementary and high school. They taught her to be brave, to be proud of who she was. And so she feels that that's a legacy that she has to pass on to other people. So I'm very proud to have nominated Rose.
Very good. So everybody can see why all these people should be nominated. Well, next we have Dr. Mother Irene Davis. And Corey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you nominated Mother Davis? And we can have their pictures up a little bit longer after Corey talks a little bit about herself. When she begins to talk about Mrs. Davis, you can have her picture up a little bit longer so people can see the people that we are nominating and have time to digest who they are.
Yes. I am the mother of 2 children and 3 grandchildren. My husband died early in our marriage, and I went to school with these 2 young ladies, Duquesne University. And I was a teacher. I retired way back. And I enjoyed my retirement. I work with, I'm in a senior building for seniors. And I'm in a building with people that have problems or they don't. Most of them have problems. So I work with them. I have been singing my whole life. And I met Mother Davis, I think when I was like a teenager in the church, and it was national, almost national. And she just a little short lady, and she's real little, but she stands out. She can sing, she can play the piano, and she can dance a little bit there too. So Mother is just, Mother Irene Davis received Jesus Christ at an early age. As a young woman who loved the Lord, she was filled with the Holy Spirit and called the ministry of music at the age of 22. Under the pastor of Elder John Thomas, she went on from there time to time to have revivals at her home church in McKees Rocks, the Church of God in Christ. 60 souls were added to the kingdom. Irene Davis was educated in McKees Rock School District. She furthered her education at the Community College of Allegheny County and University of Pittsburgh. She also attended Hardy School of Bible. Evangelist Irene Davis had a love and a passion for gospel music. She served in the Pittsburgh communities and surrounding areas as a renowned choral director, voice coach, as well as an instructor in the full ministry of music. She traveled extensively. She went from church to church, it didn't matter what church, all over the United States to spread the gospel. She had workshops, she still has workshops, and she conducts concerts throughout the region. Her awards through the ministry of music are numerous. Evangelist Davis was appointed Minister of Music, President of the Western Pennsylvania First Jurisdiction Music Department under the leadership of the late Bishop Gordon E. Bond. Bishop James M. Foster, who's in now, he appointed her too. The state choir recorded its first album under Evangelist Davis' leadership, God's Way. This recording received several awards. Evangelist in the author of a handbook with the title, Come On Children, Let's Sing. She wrote that book. And she retired from the Community College of Allegheny, where she served as musical instructor for 22 years. She continues the same ministry in her current church, the First Church of God in Christ, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. She was appointed General Church Mother by her former elder, Dr. Derek S. Johnson, at the New Creation Family Worship Center, as well as the First Church of God in Christ, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, where District Superintendent Elder Kenneth Irvin is her pastor. And I'm under her. I'm a mother learning. Mother Davis, as she is so fondly called, as a favorite scripture that is Philippians 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthened me.
Very good. Thank you. Well, next on the list is Mrs. Wilma Delaney. And I've already told you a little bit about myself, and I'll be doing a lot of talking here, but I feel guilty not saying a little bit about myself since you all had to do it. So I've been married for 42 years. I have 2 children, 3 grandchildren, and I'm retired and happy to be retired. But now, Mrs. Delaney, I tried to nominate her last year and the year before, and she would always say no. But this year, I think her children convinced her to say yes this year. But I grew up. I've known her since I was in the 3rd grade. And I remember we used to go to Wesley Park. I used to go to Wesley Park with her and her family. Now, so you know how old I am, because Wesley Park doesn't exist anymore, does it? Westview. It's Westview Park. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Westview. It doesn't exist anymore, right? But we used to go there, and one thing I remember, we were getting ready to go to the park, and she said, well, I'm going to make potato salad. And I was like, oh my goodness, we're going to be here forever, because my mother and I, we would make potato salad and it would take all day. We would be there all night and all day. And about half an hour it was done. I was like, oh, and it tasted good. I was like, oh, I went home and I said, Mom, guess what? We don't have to be up all night making potato salad. But to tell you a little bit about her, most of my childhood I grew up in the Hill, and then I found out she was actually born on the Hill, and I didn't know anyone was born on the Hill. I guess because I was born somewhere else, and then I moved to the Hill. But she was actually born on the Hill, and she was the oldest daughter, and she started a social club that met at Ammon Recreation Center. That was like my favorite place to go, Ammon Recreation Center. And when she was young, she joined Warren Methodist Church. And when she married and had 3 daughters, they all started going to Warren Methodist Church, and she raised her daughters there. She graduated from Duff's Business School in Pittsburgh. She worked for the School for the Blind, and later she became the first female manager of the East Hills Giant Eagle. And I used to remember seeing her walking from Center Avenue all the way up to Bedford Avenue after a long day at Giant Eagle. And every time I would see her, she was walking somewhere, and I said, that must be her secret. That's why she has lived such a long, healthy life. She also served as judge of elections. She was a member of the Urban League, the NAACP, the National Council of Negro Women. She also organized a breast cancer awareness group in honor of her sister. She's even tutored young children in reading. And I love to see Mrs. Delaney dance. She's the line dance queen. Anytime you have an affair, you'll see her up, and she's outlasting the young people. As a matter of fact, she teaches senior citizens how to line dance. So, as you can see, she is deserving of a Legacy Award from the National Council of Negro Women. Next, we have Dr. Mary H. Page. And Alecia, do you want to talk about yourself a little bit and then talk about Dr. Page?
Well, I will. I'll talk a little bit about myself. As we already know, I am the first vice president of the National Council of Negro Women, our local section. And I'm excited to be here with everyone, excited to be here with 2 of my colleagues. We went to school together at Duquesne University. We graduated together, and we all became teachers, and that's exciting. Now I'd like to talk about Dr. Mary H. Page. Dr. Mary H. Page is a retired social work educator, practitioner, consultant, and an advocate for civil rights and women's equality. When I think about Dr. Page, I think about the H in her name, humble. She is a very humble woman, and I wanted to nominate her for a variety of reasons, but especially because of her humility. Dr. Page has served in many roles within Greater Pittsburgh and the tri-state areas. She supports the integration and equality of women and girls. She participated in racial dialogue groups, developing leadership trainings, spearheading the research to change the landscape for child care and the needs of working women. And during the civil rights movement, she marched and protested, including protesting in the 1963 March on Washington. She is faithful to her ministry and leadership at Warren United Methodist Church, which is located in Pittsburgh's historic Hill District. She's been actively involved in many of the local, regional, and national organizations such as the Links, the Aurora Book Club. She's a golden soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority. Among her many awards, Dr. Page became John Hines History Maker in 1993 for her research and showcasing of the oldest and still active African American book club west of the Alleghenies. Dr. Page is a widow of Nathan Page, who is a veteran and a businessman, and her daughter and grandson live in the state of Maryland.
All right. right, thank you. Thank you. Well, the next person on the list is Mrs. Ethel Williams Jordan. Now, we didn't realize her name was Jordan, so a lot of the things have Williams on it, Ethel Williams. But we have Orienta, her daughter. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself before you talk about Orienta?
Sure, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Orienta Nevels, and I am the daughter of Ethel Williams Jordan. I am the oldest daughter, and I have 5 brothers, and I am married, just celebrated 26 years married, 31 years together, which I'm very blessed. We have 3 children. I don't want to say stepchild because I have a stepdaughter, but I don't like to say stepdaughter. That's my child, Tania, Shannon, and Evan. So that's a little bit about me. I would like to talk about my mother, who I am so honored to sit here and talk about Ethel Williams Jordan. Most people know her as Ma Williams. She has the biggest heart, and she has so much love. There's one thing that I definitely know for sure is that she loves the Lord, she loves her family, she loves her church family, and she loves everyone. You know, when you hear people say, I love everyone, well, my mother loves everyone. I have seen her be a dentist, a doctor, a lawyer, a friend, a mentor to everyone. And one thing that I really like to stress is that my mother is so humble. I'm so happy that she's receiving this award. I hope I don't cry because she so deserves it, and she's so humble, and she does so much for so many people, and she never thinks about herself. Never, ever, ever. When she received the notice that she was going to receive the award, she couldn't believe it. She said, why would anyone nominate me? And she asked my brother to read the letter to her after she had read it. And he read it to her, and he told her all about it. And then she asked me to come over to her house and read the letter to her because she just could not believe someone wanted to nominate her, or that she had so many stories or so many things that she has done. A couple of things that I want to mention is that she was a program aide for Northview Heights Senior Center. She was a daycare worker at Auntie's Daycare for many, many years. She was the food bank before any of these programs started. She was Uber and Jitney before any of these programs started. She has just been giving all of her life. I can remember as a little child, my mother has always opened her door, her cupboard, her heart to the entire community. And she is just so deserving of this award. And I'm just so blessed that someone recognized her for everything that she has done. So thank you so much.
Well, you know what? Thank you all for describing all of the people that you nominated, that were nominated. Some were nominated and some were, you know, mothers and, you know, of them. But we can see that they all truly deserve the honor. Now, during the luncheon, the esteemed nominees will be asked to say a few words. And we do have a clip from one of the former nominees as she received her gift. She said a few words. So if you could show that clip showing one of our honorees receiving her award, we'd appreciate that.
Life has depended on a few things. I always say first, God, family, and the NAACP. That has been my life. In 1968, I added another entity to that formulation of my life, and that was the National Organization for Women. So I'm abided by the imprints that those entities have left on my life. In addition to NAACP, God, family, and now, I could not have ever, not in my lifetime, not in anyone else's lifetime, achieved some of the things that I have without my good friends. And here today in this room, I see so many representatives. I see representatives of God, the woman I'm hoping is going to do all she can to get me into heaven, the Reverend Dr. Monty McIntyre. My family, I have family over there. Whether you know me or whether you don't know me, whatever I have done, I have tried my best to represent you to the best of my ability.
So I'm sure most of you recognize who that was. That was Miss Elma Speed Fox, and she was one of our nominees, and she was really grateful that she got the award, but she was deserving of the award. Now, this luncheon is one of our favorite events of the year. The honorees and their families seem to really appreciate the award, and we really appreciate what they have done for us. And the luncheon itself was inspired by Dr. Dorothy I. Height and Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune. And the reason that the luncheon was created in the first place was because of their diligence and their ability to work so long at the age of, for instance, Dr. Height worked until she was like 98 years old as a civil rights person, and they deserve the recognition, the people that we honor this year. And so if you want tickets, the number to call is 412-953-9583. And is there anyone else that wants to say anything else about the luncheon before we go into the other event?
About the luncheon or about the nominees?
About the luncheon or the nominees. Either.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, because I wasn't sure if you were going to ask us some more questions about the nominees, but I guess one of the things that I wanted to say when I said that Rose was bold, that she's also been very outspoken and very much in favor of social justice and wanting to see positive change. And if anybody's treated unfairly or unjust, she wants to speak out and has something to say about that. I also wanted to just kind of let everybody know that for us in the North Hills years ago, Rose was a community columnist. And so she wrote articles way back when for the North Hills News Record. And she wrote on all kinds of topics, from women to children to adults, but more controversial topics like the KKK, diversity, racial harmony, affirmative action, because she wanted to make sure that people were educated about the history of African Americans in our northern communities and across the country. And that was really important to her. And she always wanted people to know that nobody can put you down unless you let them. And that's one of the sayings that she frequently says to people, and that's really important. And then also to know that because she was a writer for the paper, as well as she does poetry and things of that nature, last year she had a book of poetry published by La Roche College, where I already told you she still volunteers, and it's called Soulful Awakening, A Lifetime of Poetry. Wow. So she's still writing today and still advocating and encouraging young people to be who they are and be proud. So I just kind of wanted to make sure I said that too.
Thank you.
I'd like to say something about Mother Irene Davis. Like I said, she is our church mother. And she can be sweet and she can be hard. And she'll tell you in a minute, "Shut up, chickens. You sound like a bunch of chickens." The soprano, she calls chickens. And we hit certain notes, "Oh, it's a bunch of chickens." But I love her dearly, and I just wanted to let you know that she desires to come to the luncheon, but we're not sure if she'll be able to make it. She had an accident, and she fell. She broke her arm and stitches in her head, and she really, you know, I'm trying to get her to stay home. But, you know, she's that type of person, she wants to be here. But you young ladies have handled it very well. She's spoken to Alecia. She's never spoken to Dee Dee, but she's spoken to Miss Alecia, and she just, "Well, I need to talk to her." I said, "Yes, mother, yes, mother." And she's just that type of person. She's past 80, getting very close to 90, and I think this is something that I have other people that could have nominated, but I nominated her. And just keep her in your prayers, pray for her, because she really is not well, and she's a diabetic, so it takes diabetics longer to heal. And when she broke that arm, she really, she's not able to do anything for herself right now. So just keep her in prayer.
Okay, we're hoping for a miracle.
Yes.
And maybe she'll be able to make it
Get it a
to the luncheon.
Well, of course, I want to add something about my mother.
Of course.
Well, I didn't nominate her, but I believe Pastor Brenda Gregg nominated her. I'm just here to talk about just how wonderful she is. I didn't mention that she is the mother of her church. And one thing about her is that she's so consistent. She's up every day at 5 p.m. praying for her family, for the community, for the church, her children. And she has been doing this consistently for, I would say, 35 years. 5 a.m. every day praying. And I just, that just blesses my heart to know that someone is praying for me consistently. And another thing that she is so consistent about is she has a birthday celebration for her children. And she celebrates our birthday. She always says, I didn't have much money to buy you gifts or anything, but she gets a cake and we have dinner, and every month we come together and we celebrate the birthdays. And she has been doing that consistently for years. So that's just one thing that I love about her so much, is that when she puts her mind to something, she does it, and she consistently do it until she say, God told me to stop.
So we can see that age does not stop these women.
That's right.
Yeah.
Now, we
That's
do
right.
have one call on the line. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we take this call first? And then
Yes.
we'll. Okay, thank you. Caller, would you say your name and where you're calling from?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lori, and I'm calling from the Hill.
How are you, Lori?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Thanks for calling in.
I just wanted to say that I really think that this program is a wonderful program, and I know that the program on the 25th, on the 24th is going to be wonderful, honoring these women, because we stand on their shoulders. And I think you all have done a great job.
Yes.
And I wish these women much success and much, I want to send them much love. I see some people I recognize. And I know Miss Gordon is a very sweet woman. I do know her. So I want to say congratulations to all the ladies that were nominated. And I'd like to say hello to the panel. You're doing a wonderful job. And thank you for nominating these phenomenal women. Thank you all for the great job you're doing.
Thank you.
I want to say hi to the gentleman too over there. I noticed you. I don't want you to think that I haven't noticed you and the great work you do to Mr. Walter. Thank you so much.
Thank you for calling.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, boy. Okay, Walt, did you had something else to say?
We're right about Mrs. Beavers. As I said, she's a great woman of faith. She believes in healing. And the person that I got most of my information said that one time, well, let me tell you, she was wearing glasses. And she said they're like Coke bottle. And they were driving along, and Mrs. Beaver said, I'm healed. And they were in traffic, right? She takes off her glasses. The woman said, oh my. But she was healed.
Oh, and so really she took off her glasses and she could see?
Yeah, in traffic.
Oh, she must have been healed.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. We do have one more call.
Okay.
Caller, would you say your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, this is Lou calling from Penn Hills.
Oh, hi, Lou. How are you?
Good, good. Missed some of the show. Just want to say I'm enjoying it. And if you can talk again about some of the people who are going to be getting awards and honored that day.
Okay, we did talk a lot about that. You did miss them, but we can give you the names of those people who are being honored if you'd like that.
Okay, and how would somebody for next year, how would someone nominate somebody? What's the criteria?
Okay, usually we do that about July and August. We ask for nominations, and they have to be women who are 80 years of age or older. who have
Okay.
contributed to the community and the culture.
Okay, great. Well, great job, and keep up the great work.
Okay, now we chose at the beginning of the program what number caller would receive a ticket, and it was caller number 2, and you happen to be caller number 2. So if you would like a ticket, would you stay on the line, and the person who is answering the phones will get your telephone number, and we'll make arrangements for you to get the ticket. Would you like to go to the luncheon?
Sure, of course.
Okay, it's Saturday, the 25th. And thank you so
All right,
much for
thank you.
calling.
Vice President of North Hills,
All right.
70 women. I gotta get
Okay,
that back
bye-bye.
in. She gonna
Thank
ask
you.
us something again? I forgot.
All right. Yeah. So we did choose number 2,
Yeah.
and it was a group decision. So, well, we talked about Dr. Height being an inspiration for our luncheon. Mess my mic up. For our luncheon, and that she was an advisor for the presidents. So we'd like to show a clip of her and President Obama, our president. Would you please show that clip?
Thought that, one of the wonderful things about celebrating Dr. King's birthday is that the civil rights movement was so recent that we have living history. We have people who participated, who fought, who struggled, some in very lofty positions and are well known, but others who were on the grassroots level doing so much to help liberate so many. And we just thought it would be nice to get together briefly and hear from some of our elders. I thought that it'd be nice to kick it off hearing from Dorothy Height. Having known all the great heroes and being one yourself of the civil rights movement, how do you think we, who are the beneficiaries of all that work, should be thinking about that period? And are there some reflections, Dorothy, that you want to share with us?
First, I want to thank you for this opportunity for us to come together, because I think we should never forget what the struggle has been. And we should also recognize the progress that we've made. And of course, you're part of that great progress, and we're very proud of it. It means a great deal to us. And to see the kinds of things that you're working on. I was preparing for a speech yesterday, and I looked through some materials, and there was a statement by Martin Luther King Jr. speaking of violence. And he said, health and hunger are root violence. He spoke of that as violence, and I thought of it. I first met Martin Luther King when I was 15.
All right, so you can see that she was up there in age, but she was still at the table with the president. So I'm glad she was able to see President Barack Obama. I'm sure that pleased her immensely. We do have another caller on. Caller, would you say your name and where you're calling from?
Yes, this is James from Point Breeze.
Hi, James. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I was just wondering, you stated that the honorees have to be 80 or older.
Correct.
Was there any reason why you chose 80 as the limit, say, as opposed to, say, 75?
Well, you know what? That was a number that we chose. The person who suggested it threw out that number. We all agreed that would be a good number because I told you the inspiration was Dr. Height and Dr. Mary McLeod Bethune, and they were really up there in age. So we set the limit at 80. And so far, that's the way it's been. This is our 7th year doing it, and 80 seems to be a good number. Not so hot for you?
No, I was just wondering, a lot of people live that long, but on the other hand, a lot of other people don't live that long.
That is true. That is true. Yeah, but we're just so pleased that those who are 80 and older are still able to get around and still able to participate and contribute to the community that we wanted to give them some honor.
I think that's wonderful. And just one of your guests stated that her mother gets up
at 5 a.m. in the morning to pray and do other things.
Yes.
Sometimes I don't go to bed until 5 a.m.
Well, hopefully you're praying when you do.
Or you go to sleep.
And could you also just give the dates of the events?
Okay. On March 25th, Saturday, March 25th, from 12 o'clock to 3 p.m. at the Hosanna House, there's going to be a luncheon for the ladies. It's called the Legacy Awards Luncheon. Now, that's the first event. Now, we do have another event. Thank you for saying events, because we do have another event on March 21st, and we're going to talk about that. So thank you so much for calling.
Oh, you're certainly welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so the other event we were going to talk about was the stamp dedication and postal installation that's going to happen in Rankin, because that was where Dr. Dorothy I. Height grew up, in Rankin. And the stamp unveiling that they had for the Postal Service was February 1st, which kicked off the Black History Month. And so they want to have a special stamp dedication for her in Rankin on March 21st. That's on a Tuesday at 1 o'clock. And I don't know, Alecia, do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I'd like to talk a little bit about the commemorative stamp. This will be the Black Heritage Stamp for Dorothy J. Height. It has already been unveiled, but we're having a dedication ceremony, which will take place on Tuesday, as Delores said, March 21st, at the Rankin Christian Center, which is on 233rd Avenue in Rankin, PA. It will take place at 1 o'clock. And this event will celebrate the life and the work of Dr. Dorothy J. Height. As we know, she's America's civil rights and women's rights advocate. This event will be hosted by several organizations. Among the National Council of Negro Women, our local section, we are hosting it in coordination with the United States Postal Service, the Rankin Christian Center, the Delta Sigma Theta sorority, the Pittsburgh Alumni Chapter, and the YWCA of Greater Pittsburgh.
Right. So that's one other event. That event is free. So what we'd like to do now is show you the unveiling that happened in Washington, D.C. of Dorothy I. Height's stamp. It's not the actual unveiling, but it is people who are talking about Dr. Height and why she deserved a stamp. So please show that clip.
I guess what I would say, my name is Ingrid Saunders Jones. I have the privilege of being the chair of the National Council of Negro Women, the 6th chair in the 81-year history of NCNW. And it is such an honor and such a joyous day to have Dorothy Irene Height, the iconic leader of NCNW, to have a stamp unveiled. She meant so much to so many, our nation, the women of this nation, the civil rights the civil rights movement, and she just was, and she always will be.
First of all, let me just say what a pleasure and an honor it is to be here. Dr. Height was truly a mentor, an icon, a legend, and one who made sure that she empowered people to understand the importance of changing what is considered normal. She never believed in normalcy. She believed that you can always outdo what you've already done. So I say this has been a wonderful, wonderful day. And I am currently the national president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. My name is Dr. Paulette C. Walker, and Dr. Height was our 10th national president. And her work in NCNW has has outlasted all of us. So again, today is Dorothy Irene Height's Day, and I am thankful and blessed to be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you just like to say a little bit about some of her work?
Dr. Height was an activist. She was definitely one who made sure that we got things done. The work that she did in terms of with the sorority as well as in general, the work that she did with civil rights movement, with women's rights movements, with activists. She helped form many of the initial programs and initiatives that started to make sure that women as well as people of color were heard in this country. She is noted for being the voice behind the civil rights movement, and in fact, our past president, President Obama, called her the godmother of the civil rights movement because of the work that she did.
Yeah, and emphasize that it was a time that it was very difficult, not like, today we've moved much further.
Yeah, and let me say, one who was in college in the 1960s, I always looked up to her because I knew that when I was on that campus, if Dorothy Height was doing it, I knew it was all right to do it. Because you're absolutely right. Times were very, very different then than they are now in terms of the ability to express yourself, to protest, and to know that you have that right to be able to do that. So we're thankful for all that she's done. Thank you.
My name is Elaine Jones, and I'm former head of the Legal Defense Fund, NAACP Legal Defense Fund in New York.
And tell us some of the accomplishments.
Accomplishments of Dorothy?
Yes.
Oh, I have known Dorothy since a young lawyer in 1972. And we made her an honorary lawyer because she was so good. Dorothy, every issue that has come up in the last 40 years that had to do with social justice and civil rights, Dorothy was there. And in 2001, Dorothy was in the conference in Durban, South Africa. In 2001, the World Peace Through Law Conference. And she was in her 90s then. And it was a 3-day conference, and she's always been such an inspiration. But not only that, she's insightful. Dorothy was strategic. She would tell us how to approach the issues. You can't just talk to people about it. You have to give people a way to be engaged. And she showed us how to do that. How to be inclusive, how to reach out, include both genders, all races, all religions, and our strength was in our unity. And she was extraordinary, and we loved her, and we love her still.
My name is Vivian Smith, and I served on the National Council of Negro Women Board with Dr. Height, and I also chaired our national convention for 3 conventions and enjoyed working with her immensely, learned an awful lot from her, that she was a hard but benevolent, kind, compassionate taskmaster. You worked with Dr. Height, but you loved doing it because she always gave you the feeling that you were helping somebody else and you were helping her in the process. My favorite story with her was I called her on her birthday every year to sing happy birthday to her. And one year after I finished singing happy birthday, and I thought I'd done pretty good that year, she said, "And now who told you you could sing?" but that was Dr. Height. She loved young people, and we enjoyed. Zilla Wesley, who is here with me, was a person who came in and worked with the young people in preparation of our convention. So we enjoyed that level of work with her, and the fact that she always surrounded herself with the children and looked for the children in terms of their academics. We had the Dorothy I. Height contest during the convention, and she loved to hear what the children had written about whatever the issue was of the day. It was not about writing about her. It was writing about some current issue for which they got some sort of award.
They got an award, a monetary award, and other kinds of backpacks with fun activities in it. And also, Dr. Height was also interested in boys participating in our youth conferences. And she made sure my children were always involved in it. And she made you feel good. I don't care who you were. I consider myself an average person. I was invited to anything Dr. Height wanted me to come to. I got to travel with her, Vivian. Because of Vivian, Dr. Height said, if you with Vivian, it's fine. And I would travel with her, and just wonderful experiences. And I just never will forget it. Never.
And where will it go from here?
Well, from here, I hope that we continue doing some of the things we have done. It has taken us a while to adjust to Dr. Height not being there.
but we are pushing along with NCNW with the building on Pennsylvania Avenue, keeping the funding going for that building and making sure that women and girls do the things they should do. My daughter is also involved in the YWCA, which Dr. Height was a part of for most of her life.
The good thing about NCNW right now is that we have people in the leadership role who share her vision and who can think outside of the box and who will look for things that benefit the greater good.
Yes.
I don't think we have people who are looking to elevate themselves. They're looking to elevate people. Not black people, not white people, not yellow people, but to benefit people, because that's what Dr. Height was all about.
Right.
She focused on black folks, yes. She focused on women, yes.
Yes.
But for the greater good was where she really and truly put her interest, her energy, and her efforts. Yeah.
And just to end on a fun note, tell me about the hats.
Oh, the hats, the hats. I'll tell you a real fun note with Dr. Height and the hats. She wore hats all the time. She had beautiful hats. People were always giving her hats. She was a guest speaker at my church once. And this is a nice little fun joke because I am an Alpha Kappa Alpha woman. Dr. Height was a Delta Sigma Theta woman. She came to my church to speak at the Mount Moriah Baptist Church in Washington, D.C. And I presented her when she finished with a pink hat. And she just thought that was the funniest thing ever. She had a wonderful sense of humor. And she could do with whatever you brought to her. If you brought it to her in love and kindness and encouragement, she would use it and she would turn it to the good. Yes. Yeah. Her hats were beautiful, and I think her hats are traveling around shows now. And we'll never forget her, and we'll never forget the hats.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so you've heard from a lot of her mentees, you know, because she liked to pass the baton. And on that note, we have a new third vice president of our section, and this position encourages and recruits young women 40 years of age and younger to join and participate in our section and to help promote growth and leadership. And we have one more clip to show you, and this is the young lady who is going to be our third vice president, and to try and bring the young people in. So can we show that final clip?
She's amazing, she's phenomenal, and I can't think of anybody better that could lead this organization in such a positive direction and in such an enthusiastic way. At the end of the day, we support each other like no other.
NCNW is the equivalent of my child. As weird as that sounds, I feel like I've been able to watch it and nurture it as it grows, just bigger and bigger, so much so that I feel as though the organization has become a phenomenon on campus. I take great pride in knowing that there's individuality and imagination and leadership, and everyone in the family can be a leader. NCNW means love, confidence,
vulnerability,
personality,
supportive,
family, life.
I love NCNW.
NCNW is quirky,
colorful, empowering,
leadership, expression,
ambitious,
acceptance. 1, 2, 3. NCNW!
Why wouldn't you join? What organization? Right. What other one is there? None. There is no other organization. NCNW. That's where it's at.
Okay, so her name is Ari Brazia, and she agreed to be the third vice president, bringing the young people in, so you can see the enthusiasm. So we're hoping for great things in Pittsburgh. Now, she did belong to the organization when she went to Spelman College. And I don't know whether any of you had attended, but last night, Spelman Choir came to Rodman Street, Missionary Baptist Church, and my husband and grandchildren and son went, and they said that they were awesome. So Spelman brings a lot of energy to the community. So we're hoping for great things. Now, did you want to say one more thing about the event that's coming on Tuesday?
Yes, the event that's coming on Tuesday, when we talked about the dedication ceremony for the Black Heritage Stamp that's honoring Dorothy Height, we will also do the swearing-in ceremony for the new postmaster of Braddock Post Office, and that's Miss Penny Graves. So we want to give her recognition and honor also.
Mm-hmm. And we at first thought she was the first African-American female. She's not the first, but she is an African-American female. Yes. So she's following the steps, you know, doing things great for the community. Now, are there any things that we need to talk before, because the show is getting ready to end? We hope to have another show. We hope to bring some of the young people on. And if any of you want to join, we even have men belonging. So if any of you would like to join, we have applications. But we thank all of you for coming and talking about your nominees.
Thank you for having us.
Any final thoughts?
Well, it's interesting to me because as president of North Hills Ebony Women, and Rose is also a member of that, and our newsletter, I had 4 quotes for this month, and one was Mary McLeod Bethune: "Next to God, we are indebted to women, first for life itself, and then for making it worth living," end of quote. Oh, wow. And the other one was Dorothy Height, quote, "A Negro woman who has the same kind of problems as a Negro woman has the same kind of problems as other women, but she can't take the same things for granted," end of quote. And again, celebrating, you know, March's Women's History Month.
Wow.
And then
That's
also
great.
to my fellow Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority sister, Mary Page, congratulations. Good choice for her as well.
And we have time for one more story about Dorothy Beavers. She is so kind, when she was an administrator of a local organization, that she approached somebody and said, "You know, we have a drug problem here. People are using drugs." And the person liked her so much and felt so bad. She said, "It was me. It was me." She said, "You?" She confessed that she didn't have. And the people who were using the drugs said, "You know, she's so good that we will no longer bring drugs on the premises."
Wow. See, we need more people like that.
Right.
So thank you so much. We appreciate everybody for coming, and we will see you again.
Okay.
We will invite you again.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thank you.
If you have, if there are any questions or comments, or you want to purchase tickets to our luncheon, we still have tickets available. Please give us a call at 412-953-9583 while the tickets are still available. Hope to see you on March 25th.
Thank you. And thank all the callers. Have a good day.
Thank you.
I'm tired of arguing, girl. I'm tired of arguing, girl. Baby girl.
Did you sleep on the wrong side? I'm catching a bad vibe, and it's contagious. What's the latest? Speak your heart, don't bite your tongue.